The story comes to us from STLtoday.com. Out of St. Louis, a St. Louis circuit judge Friday acquitted a former St. Louis police officer of felony assault while off duty at a convenience store. Now, Brandon Neal, 29, was charged with third-degree assault of Brian Boyle while both of them were in the line at the cash register of the Crown Food Mart gas station on August 8, 2019.
This is the confrontation caught on surveillance video that is raising questions about the actions of a St. Louis City police officer. It involves a plainclothes officer and a customer at a North City Crown Food Mart. We are not identifying either man because no charges have been filed. Amr Abu Saeed is the store manager and saw much of the confrontation. He says the customer asked the officer about being a police officer, and things somehow got heated.
I don't see what he could have said to provoke the officer. All he asked him was a question. He asked him a question. I guess the officer got offended about the question. It was wrong for what happened. It was very ugly. It was very wrong. It could have went another way.
Assistant Circuit Attorney Jeff Estes alleged at a bench trial this September 20th that Neal was not acting in his capacity as a police officer when he struck Boyle, that he had no legal authority to arrest Boyle, and that he was straight up lying to get himself off. That's a legal term, straight up lying. That's a law term. Defense lawyer Brian Milliken argued that it was reasonable for Neal to interpret Boyle's actions as a crime and arrest him. Judge Jason Sennheiser's ruling said prosecutors failed to prove that Neal lacked the authority to make an arrest while off duty, and that the officer used an appropriate amount of force in arresting Boyle. Now, Neal testified this September that he was at the gas station to buy coffee and cigarettes before his shift as a plainclothes police officer began, when Boyle asked him, "What the bloop is you?" Neal testified that he responded saying, "I'm a grown bloop man." And that, the judge said, was disrespectful and impolite. Sennheiser wrote, that is really the central problem in this case. If either Boyle or the defendant would have acted like a mature adult, having a civil conversation instead of trying to assert dominance, this incident would have been avoided. Neal testified that he perceived Boyle's actions and words as threats, including Boyle taking off his sunglasses and brushing past Neal while picking up a drink he purchased from the counter. He said he told Boyle, "Now you're in my personal space." And Boyle responded, "You don't have personal space, little man." Badow. And I just added the badow. Neal said Boyle then cursed at him and called him the N-word. Both Neal and Boyle are black.
There is no audio on the video. After words are exchanged, the customer reaches for a drink that he bought. You see the officer pulls out his taser and handcuffs and starts hitting the man with the handcuffs. It appears the officer is trying to arrest the man, and the man is attempting to prevent that. After the first altercation, another one happens moments later as the officer continues to try and arrest the man. The man winds up on top of the officer after it appears the officer put him in a headlock. Other officers then arrive, and the man quickly puts his arm up and surrenders.
I was very shocked that it happened that way.
Abu Saeed says the customer involved comes there often and has never caused any problems. He tells me the officer has also been there in the past without any issues. We talked with the man involved, and he referred us to his attorney. Abu Saeed thinks the confrontation could have been avoided.
After the slur was used, of course, Neal said he decided to arrest Boyle for peace disturbance. He testified that he told Boyle he was under arrest and tried to deploy his taser, but it didn't work. So basically he was going to arrest him for free speech because he used the N-word. Because he says after the slur, Neal said, "You're disturbing the peace." So he's going to arrest him for free speech, basically. It's a good thing he's a former cop.
The city police department issued a statement reading in part, "As with all allegations of officer misconduct, a complete and thorough investigation will be conducted. The officer is still employed." We're told that officer has been on the city force since January of 2017. The customer's attorney told me that she had a court hearing today and would get back to me. However, I have not heard from her since.
Sennheiser said Neal had reasonable grounds to arrest Boyle and used some force to do so, believing that Boyle intended to assault him. Well, that's not what it said. It said after the slur, he was trying to arrest him for disturbing the peace, not for trying to assault him. He only tried to assault him maybe after this off-duty cop tried to arrest him for free speech. The judge said Boyle's refusal to submit to Neal's commands created a very dangerous situation for Neal and all of the bystanders. The reason the statutes give Neal this latitude in determining to use force is to minimize the danger always present when police officers try to effect an arrest, especially considering, in this case, that Boyle was much bigger than Neal and was not complying with Neal's commands. They weren't lawful commands. The guy used the N-word. Okay, I'm not particularly, accepting of that word. I don't condone or advocate for that word, but free speech. This police officer created a situation, then decided to arrest somebody based on that creation, and then used force because of what he created. It's kind of like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, huh? The prosecutor said, you can't create a situation and then claim self-defense on the situation you created. Kind of falls in line here. You can't go to arrest somebody because they're speaking to you in a manner which you don't like. If he was a really good police officer, what is you? How you doing? I'm Officer so-and-so. How you doing, buddy? You having a bad night? I get it. And let it go like that. No, he's like, I'm a grown bloop man. I'll beat you bloop. Whatever. I just added all that. But you get what I'm saying, right? These two guys are trying to show dominance. Now, he said, what is you? I wonder if that was in response to something. If not, if Boyle really didn't start the conversation with what is you, maybe that was in response to Neal did something and Boyle said, what is you? Maybe, said Boyle had to reach around, brush past him to get a drink he purchased on the counter. Did Neal maybe perhaps cut him off because, hey, I'm a cop, I'm on a shift, I gotta go, I'm in a hurry here, I'm paying for this? Maybe, hypothetical. Now, Neal left the St. Louis Police Department in fall of 2019 after the charges were filed. Listen to this. This was in August of 2019. Listen to this. Neal was also the subject of another internal affairs investigation following an alleged assault in May of 2019 at Wheelhouse, a bar in downtown St. Louis. In that incident, Matt Lamar and his girlfriend Abby Bush of the Bush beer family, she's somebody, and Neal shoved Lamar, spilled his beer, and then tackled them both, the Post-Dispatch reported in 2019. I'll read that again. Matt Lamar and his girlfriend Abby Bush of the Bush beer family said Neal shoved Matt Lamar, spilling his beer, and then tackled both of them. So this guy is just an out-of-control cop, man. I'm a cop. I do what I want, man. You don't touch me, I'll knock you out. Neal has not been charged in the bar incident, and he probably won't. Boyle has a pending lawsuit against Neal and the city seeking damages for the assault. Now, hear the judge, well, he's a cop and he has, he goes to tell you to do something, you better do it. Right? What do y'all think?